hey, it's better left unsaid, or BLU, or blue, or whatever you want to call it, though. I'm not wearing blue. This is purple, my favorite color. I don't really know what I'm doing. I've never done a video like this, but I've had this idea for a while, and I just wanted to talk about it. And I've tried to script it out, never gets done, never comes out exactly how I want. I find the points easier when I am just thinking to myself. So that's what I'm doing. I'm thinking to myself out loud to the camera to share my thoughts with the world. Yeah. So, obviously this is supposed to be a music channel. I mainly just upload bands I like that you can't find on streaming. But I also just, I've been watching a lot of videos commentating over gameplay just about whatever they want. And I thought, you know what? I should take a crack at it. The gameplay is probably horrible on screen, but we all start somewhere. But the point of this video is I want to talk about these two albums, PaperWings and Disguises, both by the band Cauterize. I think Cauterize is my favorite band of all time. I found them, I don't even know what year, I have a horrible track of time, but literally Spotify, when I used Spotify, I don't use it anymore, I now use YouTube Music. Spotify recommended SoFarFromReal to me. And so I listened to that, loved it, loved the whole thing. Great album there. No issues with that one. And then the only other album on streaming for them is Disguises. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna listen to this. Great album, great listen. I loved everything, especially, you can't see anything in this window. I'm gonna have to edit pictures on screen. Especially the song Closer. Or that's one of the standout ones. I think every song on this album is phenomenal. Same for the other album I'm gonna mention soon. But I just want to draw attention to Closer for a reason, right? Closer is one of the best on that album, on Disguises. And then I'm listening to Closer on Spotify, and it has the lyrics feature. So I click, and I'm singing along to the pre-chorus, just one of the best parts of the song. And then, wait, what the heck? Why are there extra lyrics? He didn't sing that. So I look it up. I'm like, what's the deal with this? And I see this album cover. And I'm like, what the heck? There's a whole nother Cauterize album I don't know about? And so I looked up the PaperWings version of Closer. And it blew my mind. It felt like I unlocked DLC for a song somehow. But that's the original. And it was so good. And it made me realize what happened to the song on Disguises. Because I learned Disguises was a re-recording of PaperWings. And so I just had to wonder, why did they cut down the pre-chorus? Why did they cut down the bridge? What happened to the vocal performance? Jesse Smith, lead vocalist, he loses the softer verses in Disguises. It's just a lot more straightforward. And so I was just wondering, what happened here? What happened? What happened to this song? And then I eventually get my hands on PaperWings. I think I got it for like $40 off eBay. I don't know how available this CD is, honestly, but I listened to the whole thing. And apparently the song Feel on this album, exclusive to this, not on Disguises, was lost media for the longest time. So I guess my upload of it is the only new, accessible way to listen to it if you don't own the CD. But the point is, I listened to all PaperWings, and I was baffled. Okay, most of the songs are the same, but there's 4 different songs on here. And the instrumentation of PaperWings is different. It doesn't have the drums. The track order is different. Wait to the Sun is track 8 on Disguises, but is track 1 on PaperWings. It was so confusing to me. And at first I felt very, very distraught that Disguises would mangle the song Closer or throw in unnecessary instruments in PaperWings. But I've come to terms with Disguises is what it is. But this is supposed to be a critique of Disguises, because I genuinely believe PaperWings is one of the best albums of all time. Now, my music taste is all the smallest things in the world. Midpoint, ever heard of it? Never heard of it? Yeah, that's what I thought. But the point being, I love this album to death. I think it is perfect. There's not a bad track. Everything is paced well. Versus a band like Action Action. I said that really weird. But they have a trend where the first half of their album, all the songs will be like 2 minutes, maybe break 3. But then later, it's like a really long songs, and it's really just, it throws off the pacing of the album for me personally. But Cauterize, I feel like they didn't do that on PaperWings. And I would say Disguises doesn't do that either. But Disguises takes away one very important aspect that I think PaperWings had. And that is cohesion. Cohesion in sound and themes. Because PaperWings, the most uplifting or positive song you will get on it is Wake to the Sun. And I wouldn't particularly call it positive either. It is just the only one that is not some sort of absolute misery, for lack of a better term. That's hyperbolic, but you get my point. It's at least the way I interpret it. A lot of this is open to interpretation. I don't know what the lead singer's thinking while writing all these things, right? But I think, music's meant to be interpreted, so I can extrapolate my own meaning from it. A lot of songs like Closer, Dairy Scream, Porcelain, a lot of things, Why This Last Dance, are about dysfunctional relationships or the harm that one person does to the other in a relationship. Whether, it's from the perspective of lead vocalist Jesse Smith or from his partner that is the harmful one, right? But Wake to the Sun doesn't look at it through that, oh, I'm gonna hurt you, or oh, you're gonna hurt me, or anything. It more so, I think it describes a relationship in the terms of like, oh, like this gloomy weather doesn't break here anymore. The sun abandoned us for blue skies somewhere warm. I think that's the idea of like, the relationship has lost its life. But the chorus is all about like, take me away where the skies aren't shades of gray, so on, where we can wake to the sun again. I think it is about the idea of, let us find a way through this relationship to where it's not this painful, to where it's not so full of hurt and pain, right? I'm not good with words. I'm not a poet. That's what I take away. And that is not exactly a positive song, but it is the closest you will get with this album. And Disguises, I wouldn't exactly call what's on here positive, but whereas this is emo, the starting track on this song is Love in the Attic. I would describe that as pop, almost. And I'm stealing that from, like, some random review I looked at by some review website. But even I kind of thought this before I saw that. I think pop just put it into words for me. Is this album has a consistent tone all throughout. Unique sounds, but consistent. But this album, tracks 1 and 3, Love in the Attic and Don't Stop Now, and I'd argue the new version of Closer, which is track 2, are a lot more pop. Not like literally pop, they're still edgy, they're still emo, I'd say, but they have a very different sound than, Dare You to Scream or Miracles or Medicine on this album, right? Same album, by the way. And Love in the Attic, apparently it's based on a book. I just learned that today, actually. So I did buy the book because I am going to read it. I think it's Flowers in the Attic is the book. Looking at the song just as the song itself, because I don't know the source material, I'm going to learn, don't worry, is, the chorus is like, oh, use me, baby, abuse me, mate. I'm going to cut that. I don't want to just quote the fucking song lyrics. I'll play the song or whatever. Or it's like, tie me tight, I'm all right, take me to the attic, lock me up, show me hell, let me have it. It's this idea of wanting to be hurt in this relationship. Like the idea of like, if you really love me, you would hurt me because it's the only way I could feel. That is what the song gets across. I'm just rephrasing the vocals. But that's the point, right? Is it's still not this relationship is a bad thing. It's just like, oh, well, I want you to hurt me like this because it's the only way I could feel. Now, here's the thing. That is a bad thing. I still think that falls into themes of, the kind of twisted love. And I think that's cool. And so Love in the Attic, I think, is more of a genre issue, but also, again, still kind of a perspective issue. Because even Closer, it isn't exactly... I'm trying to find the words for it. Like, Closer is about, like, I don't think I can compare closer to this, actually. It's tough, though, because I feel like these songs are very hard to compare to the rest of the album. Love in the Attic is a very unique Cauterize song because of its topic and its sound, I think. But I think that's why it doesn't fit. Because, every other song on PaperWings, or, the track listed Disguises, other than Don't Stop Now, they are basically pulled from this, other than 2 other songs. Which, even though those 2 new ones also fall into this, of every other song on this album has the same themes as this, because it's the same album. It's the same song of these troubled relationships, and, it touches on death as well, in, like, Miracles or Medicine, PaperWings, or Minor Key Symphony. Themes of tragedy, I would say. Tragedy, right? Tragic love, tragic death, tragic loss. Things like that. And Love in the Attic, I suppose, is tragic, but the way the song paints it is not that. The song is very feel-good, to me at least. Even if he's singing about use me baby, abuse me maybe, I'm like, I can listen to this and be in a good mood. Which, I always can. I can put on Dare You to Scream, a song about killing his partner, which what does that say about me, I guess. But it's like, point is though, Dare You to Scream is very different. That's very angry and matches with the rest of the album of these themes of anger or sorrow. Whereas Love in the Attic is just an odd, happy sound to start the album with. And then you move Wake to the Sun to track 8, and I'm like, what are you doing? That makes Wake to the Sun make no sense. The album is losing its progression because the original album progresses in intensity up to Dare You to Scream, I would say. Now, Minor Key Symphony is a bit of a refrain. That's a song about, oh, I've died, I never got to say goodbye, whatever, right? That does pull back, but that is still, again, sad. And then you get Dare You to Scream, which punches you with the aggression of, this relationship is boring me, I'm gonna impulsively kill you. It's crazy saying this out loud. When I'm saying this to myself with no expectation of anyone else, I'm not thinking of it. But yeah, no, this makes it funny. But, then after that, you get Porcelain, which pulls it back in. But you come back out with... I could go through the whole, the album's progression, right? But the point is, it's the progression of the themes. The progression of the themes, regardless of the sound, the themes progress, and they all tackle new things. And even if they tackle similar things, they tackle them in different ways. Now, Feel, a song on PaperWings that was cut from Disguises, also tackles the idea of, I'm gonna say, because I don't want to keep saying Jesse Smith, I don't want to paint him like he's an actual murderer, I hope he didn't kill anyone, but it takes the perspective of someone who is, bored of their relationship, who can't stand it anymore, right? Dare You to Scream is an impulsive thing of like, I need to numb this with drinks. Your conversations bore me. I can't stand you. I'm impulsively killing you. Whereas Feel takes a more methodical approach where it's like, it's a more methodical song. Sorry, I was remembering the song there. It kind of paints this scene of, he's laid out her dress. He is having a nice evening with her. But he is prepared to kill her because he's waiting for poison to kill her. And then the whole pre-chorus or refrain, whatever you call it, is about like, oh, I'm gonna pretend at your funeral that I'm sad, but I can't help but laugh. And that idea of, verses 1 where it's all in anger and all just, I can't stand you, I'm snapping. This is my breaking point. Whereas Feel is, I've meditated this. I've waited for this moment. It's come together. I've done it. And as you're in the hospital or at your grave, probably grave is more accurate because I think the bridge is one of the most powerful parts of the song. I think Cauterize, a lot of the time the bridge gives a lot of context to the song, which I think is incredible. But for Feel, it gives the idea of like, oh, you said that I don't feel and that's why you couldn't live with me. And that's ironic because, he's laughing at her funeral. He can feel. He can, in fact, feel, but he just couldn't in that relationship. And that's why he premeditated that murder. But point is, I love this album. I could go on so long. Point is, similar themes, but different approaches, right? And that doesn't matter because one is track 5, The other is track 11. They are 5 or 6 tracks apart. Like, that doesn't matter. That's okay. And those overlapping themes are fine. An album is always gonna have overlapping topics. But the issue with Disguises is we're gonna all of a sudden take Wake to the Sun, the song about like, oh, could we find a way to improve this? We're gonna move that later. Or Tremble, a song that's track 3 on PaperWings. We're gonna move that to track 10. A song about, oh, you've betrayed me, what? After Dare You to Scream? That the intensity isn't matching here, right? That's kind of the thing, is the intensity of the songs and the topics don't match. Or they don't flow. Because we're gonna have Dare You to Scream at number 5, and then Tremble at 10? And again, this is informed off, this is the original, but also this was the first one I listened to. I first listened to Disguises, not PaperWings. Yeah, so that's kind of an issue with the structuring of the album and the rearranging. Back on the idea of a lot of pop at the start of this album is Don't Stop Now. I'll get back to the Closer re-recording because I've got some words along with PaperWings. But Don't Stop Now. I don't want to say sounds like Love in the Attic, but it sounds like Love in the Attic, right? In the terms that it sounds a little more pop. It sounds a bit more upbeat, again. And Don't Stop Now especially, I think, is problematic to be included on an album like Disguises because its themes come out of SoFarFromReal, Cauterize's first album. I just think of the line, I'll try to run because it's all I know. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's the idea of, oh, he's afraid of commitment in a relationship because he always expects abandonment. He's waiting for her to leave him after the night's over, right? He's expecting that. But the chorus is so upbeat of like, tell me this will always feel brand new. Like, don't blink because you'll miss it, right? It's out of SoFarFromReal. I think of a song like Still Breathing, where it's like, it's still beating, I'm still breathing, you haven't hurt me yet. Where it's like, it's again that idea of, I am expecting you to hurt me, but you haven't yet. And I like that theme. That's cool. But you can't ham-fist it into PaperWings. Especially when you're overwriting an album and a song that is supposed to be about tragedy, about betrayal, like Tremble, about a secret being outed. It is very backwards, what the start of Disguises does. Now, before I tackle Closer and PaperWings, I do want to cover the 2 other songs unique to Disguises, which are The Devil in Lace and Slivers. I love these songs. I love them to death. I actually think they were great on the album. Would I have traded the 4 missing songs on PaperWings for these? Don't make me choose. Because even all the talk I'm saying of, oh, Love in the Attic doesn't fit, Don't Stop Now doesn't fit, I'm glad we got this at all. I am glad I have Love in the Attic to listen to. I'm glad I have Don't Stop Now to listen to. I just think, and this is kind of my conclusion, I guess, is Cauterize should have done a new album when they got a record label. I get the idea of maybe they wanted their magnum opus to be more out there, to be accessible, to be re-recorded in higher quality. But with the changes made, I don't think that was the right choice. But the point being, the 4 songs cut from PaperWings were My Favorite Patient, Skin for Scars, Why This Last Dance, and Feel. I love these songs too much. They fit perfectly in PaperWings. They are all in order on PaperWings. Notice how with Disguises, they have to mess up the track order so much to fit them. But PaperWings, the 4 cut songs are basically all in order. There's only one break with Miracles or Medicine in between Why This Last Dance and Feel. It's so sad. But I want to talk about Slivers first, because Devil and Lace, you're alright. Slivers, really good. I love it. It feels more like it should be at the start of the album, but considering how Disguises organizes itself, with Wake to the Sun, the start of PaperWings at track 8, and Slivers coming right after it, yeah, I get why you have the not as aggressive theme later in the album, because Disguises as a whole thing, right? But Slivers is the main kind of thing it does is it paints the scene of, oh, funnily enough, I think this is why This Last Dance was cut. Because Slivers uses very similar imagery or theming to it. Now, here's the thing. Why This Last Dance is less literal. I personally think Slivers is more literal because the chorus is like, may I have this dance before the moment's past. Then the second verse kicks in like, the mirror ball fell onto the floor between us, painting a very literal image. But Slivers is this whole idea of, this relationship is falling apart. This night is going horribly. I can tell you hate everything about being here with me. But can I have this dance? Can we just have this last dance before it's over? Because I was happy being miserable with you, but you're not happy being miserable with me. Can we have this last dance, basically? And I think, you know, despite my phrasing making it sound like Why This Last Dance is very different. It is, you could almost imagine it being the aftermath of it, right? Whereas Slivers is more so in the moment. But Slivers is very tough. Because I really like it. And I think it fits with the themes of PaperWings and Disguises. I think its sound fits with PaperWings. But its placement just harms it. Because you moved Wake to the Sun and Tremble there. Like, should you have just left Wake to the Sun and Tremble at the start, then put Slivers as track 2? Closer as track 9? Like, I don't know. It's a difficult thing where, you know, I had to understand Disguises, as much as it's a re-recording, it's also not trying to be PaperWings. And I do love these songs for what they are, but I think as a complete package, it is less coherent than PaperWings. But Slivers, despite its placement, I think is phenomenal. The one new song, they absolutely nailed. Placement, sound, themes, topic, everything. The Devil in Lace. That song is perfection. I genuinely, when listening through PaperWings by itself, I miss The Devil in Lace. Love in the Attic and Don't Stop Now, I'm sad, but I don't think they match the album. They don't match the sound. So I'm like, fine. Slivers, I'm a little like, oh, yeah, I miss you, but I just don't think you fit in here. The Devil in Lace, I miss it. You know why? Because they didn't remove a song to fit Devil in Lace. They didn't rearrange the songs around it. No. The original track list is Dare You to Scream and Porcelain. On Disguises, it's Dare You to Scream, The Devil in Lace, and then Porcelain. And that's how you do it. That's how you add a song to an album. Literally add it. You don't have to subtract or remove. And I get it. They would have ended up with like, a 16-track album if they kept all the originals. And you could do that. I would love that, Cauterize. You should come back and do that, actually. But no, I get it, right? You want to keep it to a certain track count. But it's just sad. But Devil in Lace, completely new topic. This isn't something treaded on. It doesn't have any remote overlap with a past album or anything. Like how Slivers kind of does with Why This Last Dance or Don't Stop Now with So Far From Real. It doesn't really overlap. It is brand new. It is the idea of, you know, revenge sex, cheating basically in this relationship to get back at the other person. And I think that's a really unique theme to the album. And it fits right in line with the twisted and, what's the word I'm trying to think of? The point is the twisted love. The bad romance, if you would. The idea of wanting to be found in the act by your partner just to hurt them. And because that's what it's all about, is about these hurtful relationships, about hurting your partner, about hurting other people, about your partner hurting you. And I just think Devil in Lace encompasses that perfectly. The speed of the sound is incredible. It's so, everything's great. Everything is great about Devil in Lace. I have no critiques. I genuinely wish it was on PaperWings. It is that good. But that's the new songs, and that's why I think, you know, there's only one good one, right? No, that's exaggeration. They're all great. I'm a Cauterize fan through and through. They are all phenomenal songs. But there's only one that I think warrants being added to PaperWings, because it is an addition. It's not removing, it's not replacing, it's not rearranging. It is a through and through edition. But for the re-recordings, overall, I honestly, I don't have a keen enough ear. You'll probably notice I'm not talking much about instrumentation or anything, because as much as I'm trying to learn music, I'm doing it by throwing my head at the wall. I'm not really well-versed in it. I'm BSing my way through it. But with the re-recording, there are two songs they make significant changes to that I notice at least, which are Closer and PaperWings. I want to talk about PaperWings first, because Closer makes me so sad. PaperWings, I don't know. What do I want to tackle first? I'm going to tackle PaperWings because I said so. PaperWings. It is the only fully acoustic song on the self-titled album, PaperWings. Well, not self-titled, the title track, right? The whole album is named after this song, PaperWings, right? Beautiful song about loss, a dying friend, and it's all acoustic, just an acoustic guitar. That is all. But Disguises comes in and says, hey, after that first chorus, what if we start throwing some drums in there? And it just makes it noise. It just makes it a lot of noise. And here's the thing, again, I've come to appreciate a different rendition of the song through Disguises. But it's so sad because even if I appreciate it, I just feel it's inferior. Is the sad thing, right? Sorry, my lips are dry. It's just, the drums just add a lot of noise to what should be a soft, somber song. It noisies it up and makes it grandiose. This is not a grand send-off. This is a tragic ending. That is what PaperWings, the song and album, are all about, is this tragedy. And that now your best friend, your lover, has died. And you are mourning them. You are crying because you couldn't do anything to help them. And Disguises throws a drummer in there. And it's good. I like the drums. But it misses the point, I feel. And maybe in the re-recording, they were in the booth, Cauterize themselves, not the record label, and they were like, actually, we should add drums to PaperWings. I think that'd make it more full. I kind of refuse to believe that because the one they released independently didn't have drums. But regardless, it could have been their idea. But personally, I think the drums are a miss. But that's the only thing. Everything else isn't changed about PaperWings, the song. It is just the addition of drums. And I think it's fine. But then there's Closer. And Closer hurts me. I am a lyrics kind of guy. I always hear lyrics first. Lyrics are what I sing. I don't usually hum any instrument part, whatever. I love my lyrics. I love singing along. And Closer, when I heard it on Disguises for the first time, I loved it. I thought it was incredible. But when I found the PaperWings one, I realized they stripped away the meaning. They made Closer a less meaningful song to fit in between Love in the Attic and Don't Stop Now, because Closer is the idea of, oh, we fell in love, but now this love is turning into something sick. And the chorus paints that idea of like, I never meant to cut so deep, only to bleed, right? So this idea of, I wanted to hurt you, but not this bad, right? And the chorus ends off with, damn, this is gonna hurt. It is the whole idea of, I wanna hurt you, and this love is hurting us. This love is hurting me as well. And, they keep the end of the chorus in there. But the most powerful parts I didn't tell you about that Disguises cuts, I think, are the pre-chorus and a part of the bridge. Because the pre-chorus, they cut out the part where it says, I'm thinking of the bridge. Pre-chorus is, you'll wish you never met me, butterfly float on by me. Which I think, again, paints the intent of, I want to hurt you so much stronger in the song. By the time this relationship is done, you will have regret ever talking to me, ever being a part of this. I know I'm just restating the lyrics, but I'm trying to get the point across, right? And so they cut that, but even more so, they cut away a part of the bridge as well, which is the lyrics. I'm trying to think back to it. Is I've been thinking about leaving since the day that we met, because if I don't get close when it's all over, I'll just forget. The idea of, despite how much he is hurting his partner, how much he wants to hurt them, he has to get close. Also, it shows the idea of maybe why he hurts them, his lack of commitment to this. Because that idea again of maybe I'm spouting nonsense, I feel like I'm missing my point here. The point is, I've been thinking about leaving since the day that we met. Cause if I don't get close when it's all over, I'll just forget. I guess, to put it in better phrasing, is he, in this song, versus a song like Don't Stop Now on Disguises, it is showing that the perspective in the song, is not willing to commit. Because he's been thinking of leaving. He has been thinking of leaving because he doesn't expect to get close. Because if he doesn't get close when it's over, he'll forget. He'll forget this relationship by the time it's done. And maybe that's why he wants to hurt them, right? Because, it's gonna end anyway. I might as well just get it over with, right? I think it opens room to interpretation. It opens the song up so much more and gives more limbs. But that is cut out from Disguises. And so all that's left is, I've seen the end so many times and I'm scared to death. I never want to see your dark side. And it almost paints more of a picture of, it takes away focus from, I am the bad one in the relationship. Yes, there's still the chorus, there are still the verses, there's still the first part of the pre-chorus, right? But even then, the pre-chorus, outside of the "You'll wish you never met me," is more the idea of, saying like, if you're a butterfly, I'm suicide by insecticide. If you're kerosene, I'm a spark begging to ignite. Is, this idea of, I'm bad for you. Or maybe not even I'm bad for you, but I am bad for you. And I know this. I am made to hurt you. Or I am made to set you on fire. I am made to start this. I am made to start the fire. I feel like I'm blabbering nonsense now. I can't word it as well, but it strips away so much meaning. And recently, I've been just listening through a playlist of just the Disguises songs in order. Like all the Disguises originals, including Closer and PaperWings, since they are changed. And I find, though not perfectly cohesive still, it is much more cohesive. It is a much more solid album in that sense, because you aren't ham-fisting Dare You to Scream or Wake to the Sun or Tremble. I really think what would have been best is, instead of Disguises, is a whole new album with this sound. And I would say, keep the Closer re-recording. You can even keep the cutout parts. Keep PaperWings. Keep the drums in it. Keep all the changes you made to Closer and PaperWings, but just put them on a new album. This isn't new. Bands do this all the time. Cauterize did it themselves. They were originally known as TOE, and on that album, they had If You Go, previously named Cauterize, and Choke, and Shooting Stars, and Promise Me, which those 4 tracks ended up on SoFarFromReal when they changed their name to Cauterize. And so I feel like that would have been the move, is, bring over some PaperWings songs onto Disguises, but make it wholly original. It's sad because I really think this is all assumptions here. I think the idea of trying to make PaperWings better is great. If this could be better, please make PaperWings better. But I just don't think that's what happened, because you took away songs so unique to it, songs that had unique themes, like My Favorite Patient, that is about, being in a hospital more so. And like Skin for Scars, the idea that I gave up my skin for your scars, I'm being hurt because of you. I'm giving up my well-being for your well-being, right? We lost more depth because we wanted the album to have a different sound at the start. Maybe? I don't know. It's sad, because I do love Disguises. I don't want to sound like I'm dogging on it. But I just think it is less cohesive than PaperWings, is the truth. I don't know. I guess that's it for my ramblings. I still listen to the re-recording of Closer. I still listen to PaperWings, and I love, again, listening through it through that playlist, almost EP length, right? Where it's just those 6 songs, I think, yeah. I think that makes me really appreciate the songs more because they don't feel like they conflict. But I also understand that's not the intention. This was the intention. And even as the intention, I still love it. Because if it weren't for Disguises, I wouldn't have found PaperWings. I wouldn't have found my favorite album of all time. And that would suck. And even if a band I like takes a misstep, I don't care. Because there's always something I like from them. Like Good Charlotte, for example. They've really changed into just a pure pop sound. And I think Cardiology is about my stopping point with them, right? Like Cardiology, love that, but after that, not quite a fan of Youth Authority. I'll admit I haven't listened to Generation RX or whatever it is. But Motel Ducap didn't do it for me. Rejects, great, but I mean, that's the point though, right? Is even if a band has changed, they're always gonna make something you like. Even if a band makes a decision you don't exactly agree with, I think there's always something good there. Again, I love Love in the Attic and Don't Stop Now. They are incredible songs. They just do not fit on the album, in my opinion. But again, it's not my album. I'm not the band. Maybe it was their choice. I usually assume, it's record label meddling. But it could have been the band that wanted this. And if this is Jesse Smith's vision, I should say Cauterize. It's not just the front man. Respect all the other members too. But if this was Cauterize's vision over PaperWings, then I respect that. But as a fan, PaperWings is just incredible. So I guess, I don't know, that's the end. Is basically just, by messing with the order of songs and the length of them, it really hurts it. One thing I forgot to say is I liken the re-recording of Closer and PaperWings to TikTokifying the songs because it feels like they are cut down to please attention spans. Or, you have drums to keep people engaged. I don't know. I know that's not it. This was made 2007, bro. That's not the reasoning. But it feels like that. Like, did they know? Did they know? But no. That's a joke. That's a joke. I love this. I still love them. But I don't have anything else to say about it. I think that's just, sadly how it crumbles sometimes. But I'm happy to have those songs at all. Living in a world without The Devil and Lace, I wouldn't be worth it. But yeah, thanks for watching if you're watching this. I don't really know if I'm gonna do multiple videos like this. I won't lie. I saw there's like 2 channels that kind of inspired me to do something like this. I think one called like Gar, which made a good video about LARPing. Just I LARP, therefore I am, I think it's called. And it's just, great video about like, so what if people call you a LARPer or a poser or whatever the hell? Like, just do what you want to do. You gotta fake it till you make it. That's a phrase, right? Fake it till you make it. If you feel like it's you, just go for it. And then the other channel, funnily enough, also found them through a video about LARP. Word of the day, I guess. Album of the day. I'm gonna give album of the day to Disguises. I guess I'm doing album of the day. Song of the day, Love in the Attic. Because it's great. But then the other channel, I think, was Love Star K, I think. Which also did a video about LARP, basically just how negative it is and how mean people are. And it's like, yeah, we should be awesome instead. So, thanks for watching. Listen to these albums. They are incredible. Cauterize deserved better. But, at least their music is out there on YouTube. You can listen to all of PaperWings on YouTube. Do it. It is so good. If you can, buy the album. It is worth it. Get physical media. This song is not on streaming. This album could vanish from streaming. It's happened before. Songs have vanished before. Get physical media.